Hi, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't worry, I have too. This is my very first speed build and also my very first YouTube video like ever. So please bear with me if it's a little bit all over the place. I also ramble a lot, so you can look forward to that. I built this on my Twitch channel, which I'll link down below. It's just darkangel12346, same as it is here. So if you wanted to come catch this live, you can go over there and check that out. Yeah, I just thought I would make this trailer park, or like just a static caravan, which is what we call them in the UK. It's based off of a lot of the ones that I grew up like visiting and stuff and spending all my time in as a kid, and I'm not 100% like basing it off of anything real. It's just kind of like the vibes that I'm getting. And yeah, so I was just going through, trying to make it look more rundown than anything, and like make it look not like one of those really fancy ones and really cool and put together and chic. It's like quite cheap, and it's meant to fit 800,000 people all in one place and stuff like that. So that's really what I was going for. Yeah, you can see here I'm trying like a million different doors because it's on tall wall height, because that was like, it made the most sense for the shape and stuff. But there's no good back doors, and like the right size ones are often too like weird. I don't really like the eco lifestyle ones. They're a bit like, it's just strangely shaped, I don't know. So it was a bit difficult, so clearly I ignored those and I decided to do the windows instead. And I had a whole bunch of hassle with getting the windows lined up, and I was, like I said, I was on stream, so my sister was watching me and she was just antagonizing me as always. And yeah, I was also trying out some roof stuff, but I didn't end up liking it. It was just not really working. Oh, and look, I've gone back to the back door. This speed build is going to be all over the place, and I can only apologize for that. It's my first time, so I am looking for criticism, constructive criticism preferably. And yeah, just some feedback on what else I could do. What do you want to see? Do you want to see more builds like this? Do you want to see more gameplay stuff? Like what kind of stuff do you want to see here? I'm hoping to do more gameplay stuff, not just of Sims. I'm hoping to do some other stuff, like I also play Fortnite and stuff like that. And yeah, because I'm a gamer. Yeah, so let me know what you want to see and I'll try and do that. So here I'm just like changing the shape to try and fit in more stuff, because like I said, in a lot of these caravans you usually have like 3 bedrooms that are all squished in there to fit like 5 or 6 people. And if they had like an actual sofa bed that wasn't like the Murphy bed, which I think is a bit too nice, I would have put one of those in, because they almost always have a sofa bed. Like that's just, you always have a sofa bed, and then you have a bedroom with like 2 beds in it, and then another bedroom with 2 beds in it, and then like a double bed for like the parents or whatever. And that's usually the biggest one. They get like an ensuite and stuff because it's all fancy. But with this, The Sims just doesn't have that kind of like vibe really. Like a lot of the tiny living stuff is quite fancy, like it's quite nice looking, and I'm looking for something that's cheap because it's, yeah, that's just how we do things in the UK. It's like we do it more cheaply and stuff, and we try and fit a lot of people in a very small amount of space, because it's also, I think a lot of people go on holidays with family and stuff, so it's like they'll be taking like cousins and aunts and uncles as well as the immediate family, so you need to be able to fit in lots of people into that space. And I really struggled with the layout of this, because I really did want it to be kind of like cramped and stuff, and it was just too spacious. So I ended up, that's like a #1 tip for building, is make it smaller. Like it's always make the build smaller, because you always have to decorate and fill up the space and all that. So it's so much easier to fill up a small space than a big space, because obviously there's less to fill up, and you have less space to have to decorate and stuff. And it also means that like it looks more full and things, if if you have such a small space, because one bed suddenly takes up all the room, you know, and it's like, oh yeah, this is like a really decorated space. It's not. It's just got a lot of, not a lot of excess space. So yeah, it got made smaller and smaller several times. It gets smaller and smaller as it goes. This might be the final iteration, but I'm honestly not sure because I did shrink it a lot. I wanted to use the bunk beds because, like I said, it would usually be for like a family, so you'd have like 2 kids, that kind of thing. And yeah, I also wanted this one to be more like someone who lives in this one rather than who's staying in a holiday one, if that makes sense. So it's like, this is where they live, this is a house, they just happened, because people do live on those caravan sites and stuff. It's just usually more likely to be holiday makers. So I'm back. For you, no time at all has passed, but for me, I just went to get my breakfast, and it was very nice. I'm having a sausage and egg sandwich, which I definitely recommend if you feel like having breakfast today, or just at all, just have some sausage and egg sandwich. It's great. But anyway, back to the build. I don't know what I was saying because I got interrupted by the sound. I think you might be able to hear it in the background if you listen very closely. There's the sound of the doorbell, but maybe I edited it in. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing with this. I'm very unsure of what to do and like what kind of style I want, what kind of thing I want to go for and stuff. And because I know some people, when they're doing speed builds, they exclusively talk about the build, right? They talk about what they're doing, why they chose to do that, and I can do that, but like I feel like a lot of my choices, I fully don't know why I made those choices. Like, it's just something where it just felt right in the moment, you know? It just felt like the right course of action. But so I'm not 100% sure why I did stuff. Why did I put that toilet mat down? Who knows? Also, because I have to edit this twice, so I like record it. I edit it once, then I record it, then I edit it again afterwards to edit out like me making mistakes or the sound of me coughing, stuff like that. I edit all of that out. So I might be referring to stuff that you can't see either yet or have already seen, because I'm probably not at the same point that you are. So yeah, just letting you know in case I'm referring to something that's totally not happening yet. Yeah, I don't really know what oh, this is something that I wanted to talk about. But the size of the toothbrushes versus the toothpaste, like, it's ridiculous. The toothpaste is so small and stuff, and it's so like dainty, and it looks like the right size. But then you've got the electric toothbrush, which is absolutely massive for some reason. It's like the size of a Sim's arm. I just don't understand why. Well, no, it's because The Sims makes everything huge. That's just what they do. They like to make things absolutely massive for whatever reason, because it's easier to animate, I guess, because they don't have to do fine animation. But yeah, it's yeah, a bit of a pet peeve of mine. And what I'm doing now, as far as I can see, is just putting like cracks and like kind of mess and stuff, just to make it a little bit more rundown, because that is like the vibe I'm going for. And I also wanted to have it be like, you know, it's old, but we've tried to make it look nice. So we've put up like paintings and stuff to cover up the terrible cracks and things like that. It's just old, though. That's what happens after a period of time, you know, as things start to fall apart a little bit. And yeah, like I said, these are usually really cheap, and they're really usually like, they usually are run down. Even when they're new, almost they seem run down. So I just wanted it to be like, yeah, this is well loved. And I think at some point when I'm looking through the mess, I just decided that I was going to add a dog, because I don't know, I don't even know, I was just like, we need some more mess in here. And it's a dog mess. That's the right kind of mess. Yeah, I think it's just... Oh, I also went around adding light switches absolutely everywhere, because we finally got them. I figured I might as well, you know, actually make use of them. So I have put a light switch in every room, and I don't think they're functional yet, which kind of sucks, but you know, eventually they will be. And sometimes it's just nice to have that bit of detail, be like, oh yeah, we got light switches. And yeah, so I'm trying to make it so that the cracks are all covered but still somewhat visible, because there's no point in me doing it like completely so you can't see them. There needs to be some hint of it, but I just wanted it to be, yeah, just hints of it. I don't need it to be you know, massive or anything. I don't want it to be filthy. It's not me. It's just run down. It's just showing its age a little bit. So yeah, that's why the cracks are still like showing behind the painting and stuff like that. I also use a lot of tool mod in this, which is an excellent mod if you're into building, because it just gives you so much control over everything. Just the ability to like make it exactly the size that I want it, because sometimes like when you size things up or down, it's just too much. Like it's just, why has it jumped up so much? Like I just want to size in between that, and that's why I ended up using so much of the tool mod, just because it's, yeah, I want it to be a little bit more like gross and stuff. I've just noticed I completely forgot I ended up putting a litter box as well, because a lot of people in the UK own a cat and a dog. Like that's quite like normal. You'd have both of those things. Remember to add a bin. Good job, me. That is something I always forget. My other builds in the gallery, I will link my gallery ID down below, by the way. It's Nobume1387 if you want to follow me on there. I have a few builds. I have, I think, 10 of varying different styles and things. Mostly black and white, because that's like my absolute favorite color to do a build in, apparently. Not that you can tell in this one because it's very beige and brown, but that's just what caravans look like in the UK. Very, very beige. But yeah, I also added like some like dirty paw prints from the toilet paper. I'm sure you know what that's meant to be implying. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how this build came out. I was thinking about maybe because on the lot that I'm building on right now is very, very large, and it was kind of like too much almost, where it's like there's so much excess space. It's kind of like, why didn't you use it? So I ended up moving it to a smaller lot. But I was thinking that I might make a second trailer or caravan to go opposite, because usually there would be rows and rows and rows of these. Like literally you'd have like 100, 200 all just in a line in this whole area. So I think it makes more sense to like have it be, yeah, just be on next to another caravan. It's unfortunate that you can't like mark those as two different places, just because, you know, it just counts as one big house basically. Like, yeah, that's how the game sees it. It's just one giant house. And even using the roommate system doesn't really help, because the roommates end up like in my space. They can't differentiate between like my house and their house, because technically the idea is that we're living in the same house, we just have different bedrooms. Like that's essentially what the only real difference is. But that's not what the real difference is. The real difference is you live in an entirely different house. If I travel somewhere and then come back, the roommate will be in my house using my stuff. Even if I lock the door and say don't allow this person or whatever, they'll still be in there when I come home, and now they can't get out because the door's locked. And it's so frustrating that, yeah, the game's trying to be like, look, they've been up to stuff while you've been away, but then they've been up to stuff in my house for whatever reason. Like they've been using my computer while I've been away, even though I have a house that has, or they have their own house that has their own computer and stuff. So I'm just kind of like, it's really, really frustrating that there's no way for me to like actually separate them. So that's kind of why I'm like, do I want to build a second one? I might build one anyway and just put it on the gallery, and if you guys want it you can have it. But obviously this version that's on this other lot, which is much smaller and stuff, and I think it fits a lot better. You can actually see the where it used to be in the back of the footage there. But yeah, I just think it fits a lot better. It makes more sense for The Sims, I think. It doesn't look too out of place. And I thought about using a fake car, but I decided against it, because there's no like drop down part of the pavement where a car could get off, and yeah, that's just a bit of fun. But yeah, I do really like how this came out and stuff, and we're coming towards the end of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you with a small montage video and some pictures, and hopefully they come out well. This is my first time doing anything like this, so you know, I've still got a lot to learn, lots of editing tricks and stuff like that. So yeah, just bear with. Hopefully it gets better in the future. This has been so much fun. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!